Hello, everyone, and welcome to another ICD-10 CM coding guideline session where today we're going to take a look at Chapter 7, which are the diseases of the eye, and adnexa, which represents code family H00 through H59. Patients with glaucoma can be identified by different types of glaucoma. One or the other or both eyes can be impacted, as well as glaucoma can occur in different stages. As such, we are to assign as many codes from category H40, which is glaucoma, as needed to identify these specific factors. Next up, we're going to look at bilateral glaucoma. First, situations where the patient has the same type and same stage. In those situations where the patient has the same type and the same stage in the same eye, there is actually a bilateral code for that type of glaucoma. You're going to report that one code for the type of stage. That code will state bilateral. And then the seventh character will identify the stage. Now, in those situations where the patient has bilateral glaucoma and both eyes are documented as the same type and the same stage, but the classification does not have a bilateral code, then you are only going to report one code for the type of glaucoma with the appropriate seventh character for the stage. As you know from an earlier session, each ICD-10 CM code can only be reported once per encounter. So now let's take a look at situations when the patient has bilateral glaucoma, but it's a different type or a different stage. So if the patient has bilateral glaucoma and each eye has a different type and a different stage, and the classification distinguishes between laterality, that is left and right, you're going to assign the appropriate code for each eye rather than the type of glaucoma. Additionally, when the patient has bilateral glaucoma and each eye is documented as having a different type, and the classification does not distinguish laterality, you are only going to assign one code for each type of glaucoma with the seventh character for the appropriate stage. So here again, you're seeing that each unique ICD-10 CM code can only be reported once. Lastly, as it relates to the different types or stages, if the patient has bilateral glaucoma and each eye is documented as having the same type but a different stage, and the classification does not distinguish laterality, here we can assign the code for the type of glaucoma for each eye with the seventh character for the specific glaucoma stage that is documented for each eye. All right. So you've heard me say stage lots of times. So glaucoma can actually be listed as mild, moderate, or severe stage. It can also be listed as indeterminate stage. That means that the physician doesn't know what the stage is. Now, if a patient is admitted with glaucoma and the stage progresses during the admission, we're going to assign the code for the highest stage that was documented in the medical record. And lastly, as it relates to indeterminate stage, we have a seventh character that can be used when the glaucoma stage cannot be clinically determined. Of note, we also have a seventh character, which happens to be a 0, and that is used when the stage is unspecified. Thank you so much for listening, and happy coding.